Greetings one, greetings all. So yeah, I just got my ass chewed for biting off more than I can handle. So I got the whole back half of the trailer here cleaned up, raked smooth, all the cobwebs blown out of it, all the insulation blown out of it. Cleaned up a bunch of wires that were just hanging and going nowhere. It looks really good. I'm trying to find the best angle. I think it's the other side to show you. But yeah, I think so. Huge difference. So now I wanted to tear into the front because I've got insulation hanging down from the underside and the front as well. And Mia convinced me to keep the vapor barrier plastic that's under there, to keep it under there, not put tarps down like I'm going to do here. Well, that's all fine and dandy, but when I went under there with the leaf blower to blow all the crap out of there, it was actually almost worse in the front than it was in the back. And I took the skirting off the front of the building. Show you here. My plan was to blow everything to the very front wall and then out through these two openings. Well, it didn't work so well. It didn't want to come out those openings. It just swirled around in there, turned into a holistic dust storm. And I was under there without a mask on. So flying rat shit, flying insulation, flying dust, 30 years of dust. My face is just burning right now. My nose is all plugged up with crap. Stupid Kenny. But anyway, look at that. I want the whole thing to look like that, you know what I mean? So in the front of the trailer, there's a lot of areas where the insulation is hanging down as well, where it's dropped away from the underside, and I don't know why. There's no water up in the front of there. I have no clue what happened, but there's many sections that need to be shored up where the insulation is hanging. That being said, I crawled under there and tried to clean all that stuff out of there. And it was suggested that I focus on the half that I already started and finish it first. And then next year, deal with that front half. And she might have a point. I'm one of these kind of guys that I tear into something and I tear into it 100%. And it might not be feasible to complete the whole project before the snow flies, so it's a good idea to get the critical areas done, like where the water pipes are and the furnace is and stuff like that. So once she gets all the bulk stuff, what I did was it's actually open under the trailer where it goes under the deck. So I blew everything that was in the front part of the trailer under the deck. And then she raked it out. You can kind of see under there, see the daylight? She raked it all out, and we're gonna bag it up and get rid of it. But believe it or not, this deck used to be an enclosed room, like an enclosed porch. I didn't remember that, but my neighbor across the road, who's been here for 20 years, had told me that. And so as a result, they insulated under the floor, because I think that was probably heated. So they insulated under that floor, and you can see all the insulation hanging down. Well, now that it's just a deck and it's not a 3-season room or 4-season room anymore, I'm gonna rip all that insulation out of there as well. That way, I couldn't figure out why stuff wasn't dropping. You'd spill something on the deck, sand or whatever, and it wasn't dropping down through the slats. Now I know. So, but you know, I shouldn't be dealing with that right now. I should be focusing on the water pipe issue and the other stuff. So I used the underside of the deck as a catch-all when I was blowing stuff out from under the front of the trailer. I just blew it under the deck, and so now we're having to deal with that on top of whatever else. So yeah, I've been laying awake at night trying to figure out how I'm going to shore up these sections where the insulation is dropped away. So if you look at the axles over there, see that big glob of pink hanging down? See in that corner? So the insulation's dropping away in certain areas. And I've been laying awake trying to figure out how to shore all that up. And what I was going to try to do was take my floor jack and push up the insulation with a board, compress it, and then slip a piece of chicken wire underneath and stretch it across the stringers, the metal stringers. But then I looked under there and I saw a section where somebody else had already done some repairs, and it's kind of brilliant. They took 1x4s, cut pieces, and they went across, because the floor stringers run parallel with the trailer like this. So they nailed those crosswise and shored up the insulation that way. So I'm gonna cut pieces of chicken wire, stuff the new insulation up into the cavities that need it, hold it up there with the chicken wire, and then screw boards across to hold the chicken wire in place, instead of trying to pinch it up underneath between the trailer and the frame, which was my first idea. So yeah, slow and steady wins the race, but want to get it all buttoned up before winter. So I'll probably be out here working in jackets and insulated coveralls just to try to get it done. But Mia's being a trooper. She's over there kicking ass. So I really appreciate her help. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at right now. I'm gonna suit back up and crawl underneath here, and this time I'll put a mask on. And I gotta move the vehicles first because this shit's gonna fly. And I'm gonna do another blow under there, clean it out better. And then after dark, I need daylight to do this, but after dark I can, because I want to run the machinery during the daytime. After dark, people are trying to chill and relax and whatnot. So I want to be quiet. So I'm going to run the machinery now. But then after dark, I can run a floodlight under there, and I can do the electrical work and the heat tape and stuff like that, like I planned on doing. I was out here last night until about 8:30, 9 o'clock. So it's possible. All right, check in with you soon.